reason. Peter, Trump is optimistic because he's a delusional narcissist who thinks he can have whatever he wants. And unfortunately, life has sort of vindicated his beliefs most of the time. He kind of has gotten whatever he wanted despite being a huge piece of shit. It's kind of fucked up. But he's not going to get this, Peter. He's just not. Trump cannot be reinstated. That's not how anything works. I've explained this to you, and yet you persist. If Donald Trump runs in 2024, which he might, dependent upon his health, then he could campaign and he could potentially win. In that case, he would be president again. It would suck, but funsies. I don't think so. Sorry. Just Jess with a bunch of bits. Thank you.
We are winning. Welcome back, Patriots. Thank you for joining me for the show. In this show, I'm going to talk about
nothing like hanging out in the woods outside of the gun cult that you live at with your parents.
How August is going to be very hot. We have a lot of exciting events happening in August, and it might get a little turbulent, but I'm very, very excited.
What Peter's referencing there is that there is reports from, I believe, Homeland Security, along with other interested parties, that there is a heightened chance of violence this month from QAnon types. Mike Lindell is doing his, quote, cyber symposium. I think there's also supposed to be some organized mass protests or something by some of these people. For instance, at like a prison where January 6th rioters are being held. I guess there's going to be some demonstrations there by people. And I'm completely in favor of everyone's right to peacefully protest. Let me be clear about that. If you want to go someplace, and even if I disagree with you, you have a right to go somewhere and stand there and hold signs and do things. But of course, as we learned from January 6th, these people are very riled up. And if you ever spend any amount of time on a QAnon forum, you don't have to go very long before you have someone explaining how they're going to bring guns and how they're going to kill people and et cetera, et cetera. So it wouldn't surprise me. It's not for sure. But if sometime this month you hear of some other incident similar to the 6th, but probably on a smaller scale, just be aware that people saw this shit coming. Bellum Guardian says, I think Trump is going to keep trying to run for president as long as he physically can. He seems to like that kind of sore loser. Honestly, also, he makes a lot of money doing it. Like, he has a lot of marks that just want to give him money for some reason. 19% to level 4 with a minute left. Flagger at 13 with 30 bits. Arace Melel says, our cat is doing very well after surgery, and I finally caught a stream. It's a good day. Well, I'm glad your kitty's doing better. Citisaurus says, I survived the dentist appointment. Unfortunately, the cavity and hole in my tooth was bigger than anticipated. Got a temp filling and will most likely be getting a root canal. Luckily, I got prescribed meds for anxiety and happy gas. Also hope you're doing well. Sorry about the root canal, but I'm glad you're getting it dealt with. I hope you're doing well, too.
My name is Peter Hanna, and this is Peter's Political Perspective. So, let me dive right into it. Many exciting things happen in August, but before I get your hopes up a lot, I just want to point something out. A video was dropped by Toad Monkey Z, Ron Watkins,
a.k.a. Q. I don't know if Peter recognizes that he is Q, or was Q. Q hasn't posted since December or January. But it's like known at this point that Ron and Jim Watkins collectively are Q. So Peter is unwittingly following the propaganda of Q again, just under a different name. Fun.
On his Telegram account, and he told people this was going to drop. And right after that, there was a false flag. So
he doesn't say what he thinks the false flag was, and I have no idea what he's referencing. Thanks for the level 3 hype train, everyone. I don't know what he thinks the false flag was. I don't know if there was like a shooting or something. This is America, so we get those weekly. But I didn't hear anything about anything, so I don't know. eTune says, hello everyone, Uber and or Nimble RX can eat it because they won't send me my meds on time and I'm down to one of them. Oof, I'm sorry.
Possible as truth bombs are dropped, if they're dropped this month, which is expected, there could be false flags to distract everyone. So just be aware.
I'm if there's any kind of violence led by Trump supporters, QAnon type people at any of these demonstrations that they're planning on holding, Peter's going to call them false flags. Calling it now.
The bigger punches that Trump throws, the bigger punches the deep state's going to try to throw. So it's exciting, and things are heating up, but be careful out there. We want everyone to be safe and healthy and protected.
Unless you're a Democrat, then we want you hanged or shot by military tribunal in a kangaroo court. But everyone else, you're good.
So let me tell you about the exciting stuff that's happening this month. First, Julian Assange, our hero, is going to a court case, I think on the 11th, and people were expected he's going to be released. And
is he? I don't follow the Julian Assange stuff. I've heard nothing about this. It's hard to tell when he's actually trying to explain something that's real and when he explains something that's a conspiracy delusion.
Yes, it's very, very exciting because it's like releasing the Kraken. Julian Assange.
And the Kraken went so well. The Kraken went so well that Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood are being sanctioned for it by courts in Michigan. The Kraken was... Wait, does Peter think the Kraken went well? The lawsuit got thrown out, and they're being sanctioned for that lawsuit. The Kraken was released, and it was immediately harpooned by reality.
Given his freedom, he accomplished a lot of good and can really help out the movement.
It's a Coke Zero. Mr. Brightside says, is that Coke? I'm also drinking Coke. I'm very sick. What kind of sick? I feel like Coke isn't good if you're sick. Like if you get a stomach ache, I feel like a ginger ale or something would be better. And if you're like sick in a different way, then probably water. You want to stay hydrated.
That's very exciting. You have the report that's coming out of Arizona, which should be released in August as well. Could be delayed, but that's very exciting. You have Michael Liddell's...
Yeah, this is funny. The Arizona audits, I found this out the other day. The guy who's behind the Arizona audits put out a documentary that we're probably going to have to watch sometime, and the documentary is about how aliens did 9/11, and he's in charge of the Arizona audit. Fun. So they keep pushing back releasing results from that because they didn't find any fraud. Surprise! So they're just using the opportunity to get more money from right-wingers.
Big event. And that's going to be...
Here we go. Thank you, Daddy Sume. See? You're helpful sometimes. Why am I so mean to Daddy Sume? Yeah, he probably deserves it. Following the decision by Judge Vanessa Barrister to deny extradition on the grounds that it would be oppressive to extradite Assange to the United States in July 2021, the Biden administration provided assurance to the Crown Prosecution Service that Mr. Assange will not be subject to SAMs or imprisoned at ADX unless he were to do something subsequent to the offering of these assurances that meets the tests for the imposition of SAMs or designated to ADX. The United States has also provided an assurance that the United States will consent to Mr. Assange being transferred to Australia to serve any custodial sentence imposed on him. An Amnesty International expert on national security and human rights in Europe said, those are not assurances at all. It's not that difficult to look at those assurances and say these are inherently unreliable. It promises to do something and then reserves the right to break the promise. At the request of the United States, the High Court of Justice in London will conduct a hearing on August 11, 2021 to reconsider its refusal to grant permission to appeal on the issue of Assange's mental health. The court will not render final judgment until autumn. Okay, interesting. So it definitely doesn't sound like either way he's about to get, released. It sounds like either they're going to extradite him to the U.S. or he has other shit to deal with, like with Australia and the UK.
Be on August 10th, and that's very exciting. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to his website. I can't give you the details, but those are three exciting things that's happening. We also have Ghislaine Maxwell, who is Epstein's friend.
The Ghislaine Maxwell who Trump wished well to after she had already been arrested for aiding and abetting Jeffrey Epstein, a child trafficker. That is Ghislaine Maxwell. Just check it.
And so
it really doesn't, like, how do I put this? Does Peter understand if he brings up Ghislaine Maxwell, all it does is make people think about how Trump has definitely fucked children? Like, that's not good, Peter. You don't want to bring this up. It doesn't help your argument. We all know Trump was friends with Epstein and her. And I'm sure Peter would go, like, what about Bill Clinton? Bill Clinton may have too. Like, you can't pick and choose. Jeffrey Epstein's a piece of shit. So is Ghislaine Maxwell. And their associates who were involved in that. Trump was one of them, Peter.
Supposedly, the court and the people or something along the lines have demanded that she release a list of all the people who went to, Epstein's Island. So a lot of celebrities can be called out, a lot of politicians can be called out.
Okay, Trump would be on that list.
A lot of these people could be called out. That's exciting. There's just so many exciting things happening this month. At the same time, Biden is expected to do some type of speech announcing another lockdown, which is sad if you're in a Democratic state, but also pretty.
Biden doesn't have the power to lock down individual states, so even if he gave a speech that was like advocating for that, then it's up to local governments to make that determination.
Be exciting because things are heating up when the second lockdown's coming.
If by heating up you mean infection rates for COVID are going up because of the variants, then yes, things are heating up, Peter. Oh no, is the Peter saga going to end with him catching COVID? That'd be a depressing ending. That'd be the bad ending. I don't want that. I want Peter to have the good ending where he realizes he's been delusional all along, seeks therapy, becomes a better father, and lives and becomes a good person. I don't want the one where he's wheezing for the rest of his life because he catches COVID because he doesn't believe in reality. That's depressing. Wygrone says, we have Trump on video being a creep at an Epstein party. Yep. Logard says, you're in the wrong timeline for that, I'm afraid. I hate this timeline. Someone let me know, like, you hear about a train or something that jumps over to the good timeline. Maybe one that, like, maybe we go back to 2000, and Al Gore wins the presidency, and somehow, via butterfly effect, 9/11 is prevented, so the Patriot Act never gets signed. And then maybe the 2008 financial crisis doesn't happen. And then there isn't a rise in fascism in the United States. I don't know. Basic stuff. E-Tune says, what's the neutral ending? Aliens abducting Peter and he goes on space adventures. That's the neutral end.
It's expected that Democratic governors are going to close their states, and Republican governors are going to refuse and stay open.
Mike Mack says Power Rangers have a train that travels between dimensions. All right, you have a Power Rangers number. Hook me up. Ender 92 says if anyone realistically thinks that my state of Texas is going back into a lockdown, let alone mask mandate, they are way too optimistic. Yeah. Even a lot of Democratic states, I feel like it's not going to happen at this point because of stupid political reasons. What I think will probably happen more likely is that, especially as the vaccines get full FDA approval, non-emergency, and workplaces start mandating that people get the vaccine rates will go up, and that'll help. Stores and stuff might actually start asking for, depending on the store, proof of vaccination. That would be great. I really wish they'd do that. If for no other reason than it would piss off a lot of idiots. That'd be fun. No matter what, though, the Republican strategy right now on this is really stupid because they're just hurting their own voters. And you kind of need voters to win elections. So, I don't know. It just seems like a terrible short-sighted strategy to, like, make a culture war thing out of medicine that would protect your constituents so they can continue to vote for you. Like, why would you want to kill your own voters? I don't get it.
Who knows what's going to happen, but things are heating up. The deep state, they're striking with big moves, and Trump is hitting harder. So things are escalating, and we're reaching a crescendo, a climax.
Crescendo.
Something big is going to be happening in the next few months, starting in August. And so be excited, be hopeful, and trust Trump. You know, where Trump says all these positive statements, either he is a liar selling false hope, or he's an honest man telling you guys, relax.
Peter, I see that you're able to at least recognize that there are options here, both of which would explain Trump's demeanor. Now, understanding who Trump is, and that he's spent his entire life in the pursuit of the acquisition of wealth and power, while not caring about who he hurts. Which one of these things do you think is more likely? That Trump secretly has been pretending to be a complete dickwad, evil fuck for the entirety of his life, only to show up and be a savior, and to fix your life very specifically, Peter. Or that he's grifting you. Would it be easier? We already talked about how Peter talked about how he got scammed prior, and the guy who scammed him happened to be someone in a wheelchair. And instead of learning, don't get scammed, he became like really ableist and just doesn't trust people in wheelchairs anymore. This is something Peter said. I'm not making this up. People in chat here were there for that. They can attest to the fact that Peter has said that. Okay. So if Trump keeps getting older and Trump gets put in a wheelchair, is Trump going to stop or is Peter going to stop trusting Trump? I'm just curious.
The Patriots are in control. Now, Trump never pacifies people, guys. Don't worry. I'll take...
the Republicans are working on that needing voter problem. I know. But followers are also important in a totalitarian government. If all you have in your totalitarian, populace that you are holding control over, if all you have are people who hate you, and you've killed all your supporters, or a lot of them, that's not good for you either.
Caraballo, you just relax there. So when he wants people to relax, it means calm down. He has the situation under control. But Team Trump definitely wants him to get involved, talking, sharing, commenting, donating to people like me, or donating to Republicans or conservatives, donating.
You heard it here first, folks. Trump wants you to give Peter money. Okay? Give Peter money now. This is not a grift.
To a lot of Trump. You can donate Trump. So get involved with your money, get involved with your time, talk, be vocal, be active.
I wonder if he's doing this in the woods because his wife kicked him out of the house. Not permanently, but you can't do these stupid videos in the house anymore, Peter. Go out in the woods.
At the same time, always remember, there's a reason that Trump is so optimistic.
Because he's a grifter and a narcissist?
His whole turning point action speech was so good. I'm going to make a video about it, put it on YouTube, and another one on Rumble, and talk about. But his recent speech at Turning Point Action, I really recommend you watch it because it's so exciting. Trump is so excited. Things are going exactly according to plan, and we really don't have that much to worry about when you think about it. Yes,
again, it gets a little... We forget how ridiculous Peter's conception of the world is, but just to spell this out, Peter thinks that space aliens from the fifth dimension... Moppy Mutton says, have you seen the Nazi-esque Trump cards? Yeah, we took a look at these, yesterday. So Peter thinks that aliens from the fifth dimension have been experimenting with Earth. And every country exists because each country is its own experiment. So America is an experiment that aliens are doing, and it's their favoritist experiment, which is why America is the protagonist of the world in Peter's eyes. So, at some point, there's also this evil Illuminati-esque deep state cabal that's satanic. Satan also exists in this worldview, that are working to harm children, and the aliens have teamed up with a grifter and reality TV show host in order to stop the satanic child eaters. And then Peter believes that once that happens, weed will cure everyone's illnesses, and if it can't cure it, you'll get a med bed. And Trump is using future predicting technology to help fight this deep state cabal. And Peter thinks this is all true, and is being conveyed to him by crackhead pillow salesman, previously mentioned reality TV star, and aliens on Telegram. And he doesn't see any problem with any of this. He believes this is all true, and this is all reasonable, and this makes sense. His poor wife, Kirthan, says, I mean, that's probably why they called it the American experiment, Hannah.
There's some turbulence here and there, but at the end of the day, Trump is winning, God wins, Peter's are in control. That's the most important thing that we need to know. Why this scenery? I thought just change the pace, change it up a little bit. I actually started my YouTube channel with a smartphone, and I would perch my camera on a rock over here, and then just start making videos, and I get like 20 views, and I'd be like, yeah, I got 20 views. Now I'm like, woo, 1,000 views. So I appreciate you guys watching.
You forgot the period in there where you would get like 15,000 views, but then you got banned from YouTube because you're spreading misinformation. And then you made a bandation channel where you are now, where you only have under 2,000 subscribers. And a decent number of those people are fans of mine who make fun of you. That's a shame.
I'm blessed with patriots who are supporting me and donating, and I really appreciate it. Those donations really help out a lot. Like, I get donations sometimes for $1, $2, $5. I'm totally happy with that.
If I had more money and had less self-respect, I would send Peter $666 for fun.
And I really appreciate anything. You can give $1, $2, $3, anything you donate, I really do appreciate. Right now, I'm not taking a salary.
You know, I can respect the way he phrased that, okay? That makes it sound like he could take a salary from his YouTube channel that gets, this is at 430 views after 3 hours. That makes it sound like he could be taking a salary, but he's choosing not to. Even though in reality, his channel probably makes like $2 a month. I'm not taking a salary. That wasn't an option, Peter. You don't make money doing this. Not enough to make it worth anyone's while.
I hope to in the future. But right now, I'm putting everything back into this project because I want to help people. I want to be.
He needs to get a job. I think he said before that he can't do a job because of his chronic pain in his arm. And I understand chronic pain can be like a serious issue for people. I totally understand that. I don't mean to like diminish how much chronic pain can affect people, but there are people who work with chronic pain all the time, and Peter doesn't have to do like a physical job, right? I'm not telling Peter to go out and, you know, lift boxes for a living, but he could go be like a cashier at a supermarket, or he could, you know, I don't know, but there are jobs Peter can absolutely do. I understand he's in pain, but he's going to be in pain whether he's at home or whether he's at work. He can at least be helping provide for his kids.
Be high quality. So feel free to give me feedback, and I can continue putting out exciting videos for you guys because we have so much to be excited about. And I just want to cheer Republicans. Like, that's what really makes me happy. Like
again, I know I kind of dig at Peter sometimes just because like he frustrates me to no end, and that's rude of me in a lot of ways. But like I'm going to compliment him here. Peter could do fine in the service industry. or in anything that involves face-to-face communication with people. Peter's a personable guy. Peter, like, as long as he doesn't bring up all the conspiracy stuff, he came to you and was like, "Hi, I'm Peter. I'm here from the water company. I'm supposed to check on this thing." I don't know. It's hypothetical. You'd be like, "Oh, okay. Come on in, Peter." I don't understand. I really don't.
People watch my videos and they're like, "I was having a bad day, but then I saw your video and I think it's all going to be all right." Remember, guys, pages are in control. Trump is winning. Trust the plan. Enjoy the show.
Again, this plan that involves aliens and getting Trump elected in 2016 involved him getting elected, doing nothing but bad things for 4 years, and helping get tax cuts for the wealthy, while not helping the poor or even the middle class. And then the plan was, okay, now you're going to lose the 2020 election, and we're going to wait at minimum 8 months into the Biden presidency to do anything. I think those aliens were getting crack from Mike Lindell. Like, what? What do you mean we're going to wait 8 months? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you know,
like, imagine if, like, I don't know, like, let's say the Allies stormed the beaches of Normandy, and this is the aliens and Trump winning the 2016 presidency. They've made a beachhead, right? And then they go, and now it's the 2020 election, and they're like, all right, retreat, everyone. Now we gotta let the enemy gain back the land that we've lost, and they all fuck off for 8 months? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Even an alien brain couldn't explain that.
We've heard these things before. We got it under control. Everything's going to be amazing. So be hopeful, be excited. I hope this video cheers you guys up and lets you know that August is going to be hot. You know, August is going to be a hot, hot month. There are big blows that are going to be thrown in August. Be excited. Get ready. Prepare. Now's a great time to prep and be safe out there. We want people to be protected and safe. And
I wonder if Peter or any of his church members are going to go to any of the, like, things going on this month in terms of the protests or whatever. Because I know he told me some members of his church were at the January 6th thing at the Capitol. I don't know if they were in the Capitol or anything. Of course, he wouldn't tell me that if they were. But he said they were there. So I'm wondering if Peter or any of those people are going to go to anything else.
And we want everything to happen to be as peaceful as possible. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you for people who are donating and people who are supporting, commenting, sharing. You guys are making this so enjoyable and you're really improving my channel here, so
you're welcome, Peter.
Really appreciate it. All right, everyone, have a great day. And as I'm trying to remember to end my videos with, God bless you, God bless America, and enjoy the show.
Fucking hell, Peter. Ender92 says, aliens advanced enough to travel through the galaxies are clearly unable to manipulate some incredible complex human voting ballots. The deep state just had them beat there. Mike Max says, found Peter alien. Galaxy Quest is good. Wait, was that Dwight? Is Dwight one of the aliens? Oh no, how did I forget that? Oh no, Dwight is one of the aliens! Oh god! I did not remember that Dwight was one of the aliens in Galaxy Quest. So that's what Peter is doing, hanging out in the woods. At least he's getting fresh air. How many hours a day do you think Peter spends online just looking at, like, Telegram and GreatAwakening.win and stuff like that? Probably an unhealthy amount of time. Anyway, moving on. Oh, look! It's our least favorite vegan and our least favorite teacher, that vegan teacher. What's she concerned about today?
Hello students, welcome back to class. Today we're going to be reviewing a channel called Coco Melon. It has 116 million subscribers. That's a lot of little kids who are watching this content. So let's hope that this channel is teaching them properly.
In this episode, that vegan teacher goes to war with the concept of nursery rhymes.
Let's have a look at what they are teaching here. Okay, hold on 1 second there. What do I see? Okay, we're talking about a sheep, first of all. Okay, we're talking about Baba Black Sheep, so let's hope there's no discrimination here.
Ender 92 says, Peter was told to touch grass too many times and took it literally. Did I watch the Not Even a Show episode yet? No, I do have it saved in my Chud Watch folder, so we will get around to it eventually.
We're hoping that they're going to be nice to the sheep anytime that there's a sheep and not treating them like objects. Okay, that's one thing. And one thing about this farm that strikes me right away that I find kind of odd is that farms like this rarely exist anymore. Corporations have taken over and they've taken the land and they have these massive farms where they keep the animals in tight, confined quarters or crammed together, and they're used as objects and not treated very well. So right away, this is kind of an old-fashioned way of teaching kids about animals. You know, old McDonald's farm, that type of thing.
I mean, sure, but family-owned farms are still a thing. I grew up in a community that was like a farming community, and I grew up next to other people's farms. Like, they still exist. Not as common, I agree with you, but you also can't act like they don't exist. And also, it's kind of irrelevant considering you think those are just as immoral as, or at least you consider them immoral as well as factory farming. I guess I don't know if you draw a distinction. He's pretty, like, all or nothing. So I'm really not sure. But okay, Sume with a link to a chud. Thank you. I'll look at that later.
It just doesn't exist anymore. By far, the vast amount of animals on this planet are used. They are eaten. They are worn.
That's not true. If we're counting bugs, that's definitely not true.
They are abused, and we must learn how to teach kids better than this. So I'm going to give them an X for this, but I'll give them a check mark because they're at least talking about animals. So that's good. Let's see how it goes. Oh, what's going on? All right, so you have a little kid here coming to do something to the sheep, and clearly this sheep is not happy and trying to get away. So this sheep.
The thing in the bucket said, like, soap. I think the kid was going to, like, bathe the sheep or something and probably shear it. This is an interesting question, too. I genuinely don't know. Because if you don't shear sheep, they turn into this, and it's, like, super-duper uncomfortable for them, and it can screw them up, right? It can hurt them. So that vegan teacher has talked about being against shearing sheep before. And yes, I know modern sheep. I know it has to do with selective breeding. But nonetheless, these animals now exist, okay? These animals exist. So what does that vegan teacher want to do? Let's say tomorrow everyone goes vegan, and we agree we're not doing animal products, we're not doing meat. What do we do with the sheep? Are we still going to shear them, just like out of kindness, because without it, they'll be uncomfortable and in pain? Or what? Just let them be and they're going to die? I guess I don't understand what her thought on it is. Because I know she's talked about saying, like, oh, we shouldn't steal the wool of sheep. Okay, if we're shearing them, are we just throwing it in the trash then? What are we doing with it? Are we taking care of them? Are we not? What are we doing?
That knows what's going on. The sheep has clearly been abused in some way by this kid before.
Vegan teacher, the joke is that the sheep doesn't want to have bath time. It's a kid joke, because kids will be like, I don't want to take a bath, and it's a humor for a baby. It's a humor for a very small child. So it's like, I don't like taking baths, So the sheep must not either. The sheep is running away from the bath. Like, that's the joke. They're not putting implications of animal abuse in this video for 3-year-olds. Firemancer says talking about reading into more than you should, right?
Or is definitely not happy to see this child.
They also get, like, flies that lay eggs in their assholes if they're not sheared, and it leads to death. Oof.
Oh, so what has this child done? Let's give this an X again. Not too happy about the way this is going.
Red Werewolf says, is she against grooming or bathing dogs? They don't like that much, right? I keep forgetting I have this bruise. Did I show you guys this bruise? This is terrible. This...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, this is not okay. So the song is Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? And the sheep is clearly saying, no, I don't have any wool for you. The wool belongs to me. Leave me alone.
Wagroad says USDA as of 2015 says majority of agriculture is still small farms. That's good. Large family farms continue to dominate U.S. agricultural production. Well, that's nice. Wait, am I blocked? Oh, I blocked this person, whoever it is. I know Daddy Sue sent that link as a shot.
Why are we having a scene here anyway? 3 bags full? You have 3 bags full of wool? This is not okay. This is exactly what I'm worried about.
3 bags full.
Alright, so we've got the sheep that's trying to get away, and the child is trying to stop the sheep. Sheep's not happy. The sheep is not consenting to this. So let's put another X here. It's not a game that the sheep is playing. It's not a game of tag.
I missed your bets. God damn it. She must hate Simba then.
One for the dame.
One for the what and one for the dame? What are you talking about? You're going to take the sheep's wool and you're just going to give it away to random people?
Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy. Who's putting posy in their pockets? What the fuck?
Sheep's wool belongs on them. We need to stop breeding sheep into existence and breeding them in such a way that they have more and more and more wool.
Okay, but being a teacher, listen to me closely. We already did. They exist. They exist already. So what is your proposed solution? Let them out into the wilderness so they all starve after they grow so much wool they can't even feed themselves? Genuinely, I'm not being facetious. What is your solution? Give a solution to this problem, please. I'm all ears.
You can steal it from them, and then there's this lie that people tell. They say, "Oh, we need to shave the sheep because otherwise they'll be uncomfortable." No.
Yes. White Girl says, when I looked up at the stats, the rest of the page results were misinformation from vegan and animal rights groups.
But what we need to do is stop breeding sheep to begin with.
Okay, but they exist right now. That's not a myth, vegan teacher. It's literally how sheep work that we have bred over centuries. They exist. This is not a meeting where we're deciding, all right, the eyes have it. We're going to go ahead and start breeding super wool sheep that makes them uncomfortable or kills them if we don't do it. And she's like, I don't think we should do that. We already did. That bus has left the station. It's fucking gone. Your solution cannot be, well, we should just not breed them. They're already bred. They are alive. There are probably millions of sheep on the planet. I don't know the real numbers. But there's probably a fuck ton of sheep. There's a lot of the wool is a huge industry. So, vegan teacher, Boom! We all go vegan today. Today is everyone's vegan declaration day. What do we do with all the sheep? What do we do with the fucking sheep? And it's her contention also. She says she doesn't want humans to breed them. Okay, let's say humans don't breed them anymore, vegan teacher. We let them all out into the wild. They're gonna fuck each other. They're animals. They're gonna find, the sheep are gonna find fucking goats. And those goats are gonna go to town. Are goats male sheep? Or did I just say something really, really stupid?
Really, really stupid.
I don't know animal things. Different animal? The goats might fuck the sheep anyway. I'm not going to tell them how to live their life. Alright, the male sheep will fuck the female sheep. Rams. That's the word. Yeah, I deserve a clip on that one. No, but seriously though. Okay. The sheep are gonna get pregnant and they're gonna have more sheep because they're animals. Okay? What do you do with the sheep?
Stop creating animals just for the purpose of using them, taking from them, stealing from them.
You know what? At least I realized my mistake immediately. Is Baha not here anymore? No one tell Baha. I don't want her to think I'm dumb. I'm already so afraid she thinks I'm dumb. Because she's so smart. Morak says, I like mutton stew, a nice slow boil of carrots and potatoes. Also, llamas and sheep can breed, though their offspring are sterile.
Eating them, creating sadness from within their families by...
Oh no, she's here! I'm sorry, Baha. I don't know which animals fuck other animals.
separating them, murdering them.
One for the little boy who lives down the...
What? Why does the little boy who lives down the lane need to have some kind of wool?
For clothing! It's a nursery rhyme from like centuries ago. I don't know. They're making goods out of it. Vegan lady! They're making clothing!
From a sheep. How would you like it if somebody came and just started taking off your hair off your head without consent? I think you'd be going away too. Giving some other acts.
Rain, Baba,
Oh god, one of Baha's friends are here too? Oh god. Why did I have to get the animal fucking wrong on this episode?
can't have you anymore. Yes, sir, yes, sir.
So this sheep is so scared that the poor thing, she runs into a ladder and gets herself hurt trying to escape. This is not okay either.
Bashful.
What's funny about that? You just
Slapstick. It's like baby slapstick, so I don't find it funny, but like, if you're like 3, you're like, haha, sheep fell into paint. Sheep blue now.
cause this harm to this sheep by chasing her.
Take it by, give it a limit. How could anyone laugh at this poor, underpaid laborer being exploited for his work and injured in below safety standard factories? The goal of you people for finding this funny.
I tried to do something to her that she doesn't want.
What ails? Like Max with the link, she'll hate this then. Oh yeah, the sheep getting stuck, and then unstuck, and then stuck. This sucks. God, that thing has perfect comedic timing.
And when she has a bucket that
Oh, I know you don't actually think I'm stupid. I just get self-conscious about it.
falls on her and she's full of pain, your first reaction is to laugh.
Yes. This is the Joker scene where it's like, you think that's funny? Yes, and I'm tired of pretending I don't.
This is messed up. I'm not okay with this. We are not teaching kids the proper morals. No. Right, so far we have only 1 check mark and 7 X's. Yeah.
Yeah, if I didn't know any better, if I was if I was a conspiracy theorist, I would say that vegan teacher is a plant by the meat industry to make vegans look bad. That's how terrible she is at representing veganism. It's so stupid. Like, again, I'm not even a vegan, and it makes me mad. It's like, I think positions that are reasonable should have the best defense possible, right? If you want to advocate for veganism, I hope you do so zealously and in a confident fashion, which I've seen plenty of. You know, there are so many people out there who advocate for veganism and do so in an intelligent, well-thought-out way that actually convinces people. So it just frustrates me to no end when I see someone like this defending a topic that should be defended, even if I don't fully embrace it. And she just shits the bed and makes the whole concept look bad. Pyromancer says, no one's okay with what you do, vegan teacher, but you do it anyway. Yeah, that's a blue sheep now.
Oh, what has this child got in his hands? A lasso? A kind of a...
What? Oh, what? Hold on.
What has this child got in his hands? A lasso?
Lasso.
Is this a Canadian thing, or is this a weirdo thing? Because I genuinely don't know. Do Canadians or French Canadians say lasso? Because she is from Quebec. And that's fine, it's just I've never heard that before. It's a French thing? Okay, cool. That makes sense. She is from Quebec. Morok says, I love old films, especially silent pictures. The pure ingenuity needed for so many of the sets and the acting has be exaggerated to show through the lack of sound, but you can't be too over the top as to be overly hammy. Chaplin and Keaton are absolute geniuses of comedy we don't get anymore. I think the closest to either of them is probably like Jackie Chan, in terms of someone who does like physical comedy that's dangerous, who does all their own stunts. But even then, Jackie Chan's old-ish now. I don't know how old he really is. 60s maybe. So he doesn't do it as much, but yeah.
A kind of a weapon with which to catch this innocent animal? No. Another X.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, Jackie Chan as a person politically is not a good person. But yeah.
What are you doing? Trying to catch the animal? The animal says no, shakes this away. How would you like it if somebody tried to lasso you and tried to pin you down and take your hair? Another X for Coco Mallet.
I'm a human being with the right to bodily autonomy. A sheep is a sheep.
Coco Melon, so far you're not doing very good.
Firemancer says, frustrated at a baby throwing a lasso, but not going to question how the baby is doing it.
I'm not impressed.
Burn. This woman in her 50s isn't impressed by this video made for 4-year-olds. Take that. Nah, Steven J. Neptune Man says, I've seen the argument that physical slapstick comedy is ableist, so being teacher saying slapstick isn't funny isn't something that hasn't been said before. I haven't heard that. I find that statement to be questionable.
One for the master, one for the day, one for the little.
Now the sheep has to try to stop the lasso with.
Okay, being teacher, you have kids. I know you have kids. I would imagine at one point or another, it was time to give your kids when they were little a bath or put them down for a nap. And they said, no, I don't want to. And you probably still had to make sure they got a bath or took a nap. Because they do not have the ability to make reasonable decisions about their own body at that point because they're young children, basically babies. A sheep is dumber than a 3-year-old.
Sheep.
Okay, I don't know that to be true. I don't know sheep intelligence. Here's the thing. A sheep doesn't necessarily know that if you don't shear it, it's going to get fucked up. But it is. So you got to do something about it. And I can't believe I'm actually arguing about this stupid, bad CG kids video, but you made me do it. You made me do it. Red Ant Farmer says, blah, blah, black sheep. Wait. Blah, blah, black sheep was a lampoon about wool taxes in England. Black wool was undyeable, so taxed less than white. Each of the figures represents political figures. I think I'd heard that at some point. Colston says, vegan teacher having kids? Let's hope she became vegan after they were out of the house. She did. She only became vegan like 5 years ago. Did we already watch Peter? We did. Sorry. You can catch it on the pod, though. Steven J. Neptune Man says, the argument was, since some disabled people have trouble standing up, when you laugh at someone tripping or falling, you're being ableist. I don't agree. Just something I read a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. If someone genuinely feels upset about, like, slapstick comedy because that evokes something in them, that's unfortunate, and I feel for them, but no.
With her hand, because it's coming on her face, more attacks. Attacking animals is not okay. Leave animals the fuck alone.
You hear that? 5-year-olds, I'm upping the age every time for some reason. You hear that? 2 to 5-year-olds who enjoy this video? Go fuck yourself!
Again? Look at this sheep's face. Do you think that this sheep wants this to happen?
It's a cartoon sheep. Not a real sheep. It is a cartoon sheep.
No. The message is clear. I don't consent to this. I don't want this. Again? No. I guess this is how this is going to go then. This is just going to go on and on and on like this. Is that right?
See, between this and the lobster thing, the what the fuck is this? It just makes me think she's like a space alien. Maybe not one of the ones that Peter thinks is working with Trump, but a different species that just came to Earth and doesn't fully understand the concept of like anything, like lobster tanks or children's rhymes. Is this just gonna go on and repeat itself? Why? It's for little children like repetition. This is what happens to sheep if you don't shear them. Yeah, gross. I've seen this.
Animals in the forest released for food. He was a bit shell-shocked when he arrived. He couldn't really stay because of the woman.
Pyromancer says she has paused so many times and only 1 minute of the video has elapsed. I know, right?
It's so incredibly tight.
Yeah, that looks uncomfortable. That poor thing.
He had sort of 5 kilos.
Wow, 77 pounds. That's gotta be a jacked sheep now.
That's how the poor fellow would be
On
out.
the bright side, no. On the bright bright side, no goats intent on committing bestiality can get to it, so that's probably good.
I had to get the prison, but we knew that was a huge risk to his health and safety, but leaving it up was a great risk.
Morak says, my first job was as a farmhand. We had sheep. They were hella dumb, but I don't know how they're compared to human children, but I can say they lack any kind of complex thought processing. They were trying to eat the fence at times. I mean, in fairness, was the fence delicious? Did you lick it? Two Man says, is this vegan teacher?
She
Like,
took me in a house, she took it up, we had to go in there.
Not good. Like, I've known you since 9th grade, bro. You've known this guy for maybe a year. Maybe. Yo, why is he looking at me like that? What's up, little bud? You got a staring problem, huh? Like what, dude? He's just looking at you. He's a baby. Look at his face. Dumb little face. Yo, yeah, get your boy out of here.
yeah, War Day is trending on Twitter, and we're gonna ignore it.
Hey, call you anymore. Yes, sir, please.
This is a 30. The video she's watching is 35 minutes, by the way. She's a minute in. Gregory Term says, "Oh, it is War Day today, isn't it?" What do you mean? Oh? You know that there's a fucking War Day, and not only that, you know the rough temporal coordinates on the calendar where you go, oh yeah, it's War Day. It is that time of year, isn't it? What the fuck? What the fuck? What are you all doing? Stop it.
So now that she is still running away.
888. I get it. That's a little funny. Two Man says, Hannah, it's also August. Is that like a 4 month?
Trying to get away from the lasso and from this child who is trying to hurt her, that she runs into and bumps into a cow and falls into a bush. Now she's going to be injured again. How would you like to be running and then just fall into a bush full of twigs that are jabbing into you?
If I was in a comedy video, I'd be like, yeah, this is the bit.
Another X.
They're also cartoon characters. Like, does she watch? I was gonna say this sarcastically, but now I'm genuinely curious. If she like puts Tom and Jerry, ridiculous, this depiction of animal abuse, this poor cat constantly being attacked, and this poor mouse being attacked by this cat. The cat should just be vegan. Like, I was joking, but now I think that might legit be a video she'll make in the future. Mike Road says we need to accuse TBT of encouraging animal cruelty by encouraging the collective channel. Bobby Mutton says, I shared King Cobra and y'all shared War Day, and we are even. Agreed. Slow Dog says, it's okay, vegan teacher. The sheep just clipped into the hedge. No polygons were harmed.
Parents who show this to children, first of all, I think this show should be banned. But the reason for that is that kids
Is this the cancel culture that right-wingers are always talking about?
are not being taught to look at this stuff with a critical eye. Now, it would be one thing if you have a parent who says, hey, let's watch this show, and, maybe the tune is fine, and maybe the melody is fine, it's an old melody, but you must, as parents, teach your children that speciesism is the first form of racism, and that this is...
No, it's not.
It's wrong. You must stop the show and say, that's not nice. Don't hurt the sheep. Don't make a lasso and try to catch animals.
It's good. You want to catch your babies real early with the lasso stuff, because that's a slippery slope to becoming a cowboy. And you don't want that. You don't want your babies growing up to be cowboys, okay? That's a one-way ticket to hell. I've seen Brokeback Mountain. I know what happens.
That's how parents must treat these kinds of shows. So let's have a look at what actually happens in the wool industry.
I was more referencing the Weird Al song, that was intentional. I was referencing the Weird Al song Dare to Be Stupid, which has a line referencing that other song. Weird Al says, let your babies grow up and be cowboys. So I was referencing that, which is a reference to the other song.
They pin the animals down.
I probably have to take this off the screen just in case. But here's what I'll do. I'll crop it temporarily. So you guys can't necessarily, oops, wrong, that's the wrong thing. So you can still see her, but you can't necessarily see the stuff on the screen. Firemancer says, I too get pinned down in a chair when I get my hair cut.
They shave them so fast because